So wait, this was just announced? The StarCraft? Anyways, we'll read over that, okay? I'm not gonna complain right from the get-go. The StarCraft 2 5.0.9 PTR patch notes. There's an actual balance patch for StarCraft 2, Antaro Adun. We are releasing a balance patch which was put together by our very own SC2 community. Over the past couple of months, we have been working with various members of the community and tournament organizers to create a balance update for the game. We would like to recognize and acknowledge the members of the group for the upcoming changes you see below. Now, I know some of you are wondering, Lowko, were you part of that cool kids club as well? I most definitely was not. I have given my thoughts on balance. I have complained about the game plenty. I mean, I absolutely love the game, which is why I complain, right? But, yeah, they did not ask my opinion. Anyways, okay, so I haven't seen this yet. I haven't scrolled past it. I have no idea what's in this list. But currently, I would say Void Rays are kind of dumb. Queens are kind of dumb. Lurkers are kind of dumb. Ghosts are kind of dumb. And I think splash damage in general is a little bit overtuned in StarCraft 2, but alright, that's just my personal opinion. I think Widow Mines are also a little meh. I think Banelings are a little bit too strong. I think Disruptors are a little bit too strong. I think Storm is too good. I think Vipers are a little bit too good with their Parasitic Bomb ability. I think Abduction might need a little bit of a tweak as well. So there's like a... I don't know how much there is. Let's look at the scroll bar is kind of small, guys. The scroll bar is kind of... Okay, let's see. Shield Battery. Starting energy reduced from 100 to 50 outside of the Nexus field. All right. Good start. This would make it so that you cannot simply proxy a shield battery on the other side of the map and then do a bunch of cheeky Void Rays inside of your opponent's main base. Right? This will definitely make Tempest cheeses and Void Ray cheeses a little bit better. And it will make them more defensive and less offensive. That's good. That's really good. Dark Templar. They now have a 0.75 second attack delay after blink. All right, so this is particularly an issue in, I guess, Protoss versus Terran and also some in Protoss versus Protoss. It's not so much in PvZ. But you know that moment where you have like 10 Dark Templar and you're like, blink on top of the planetary fortress, swipe, 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 everything dies. You can't just nuke it within half a heartbeat, which is probably a good idea. 0.75 seconds sounds like a long time to me. But, alright, anyways. Now, let's get to something that's probably a little bit more critical. I love, by the way, how Dark Templar are like a core unit in the StarCraft multiplayer right now. So, I hope this isn't too much, but I don't think so. Anyways, Void Ray. So, I guess you'll probably use the blink. It's called Shadow Strike, by the way, not blink. Anyways. I love how, I guess this will now be used defensively. Okay, so Void Rays. Void Rays, once upon a time, I think this is 20th of August, 2020. That's how long it's been since they buffed the Void Ray. It's a long time ago. But they buffed the movement speed, they buffed the build time from 43 to 37, and then they also changed the cost of the unit. And right now, apparently, mineral cost is going to go from 200 to 250. Build time increased from 37 to 43. I think overall, Void Rays aren't necessarily too strong. It's just that they are too common and too good overall at, like, you know, most levels of the game. Especially below, like, the pro level. Void Rays are everything you see. Everything you see. Queens. All right. I'm a little nervous for this one. Can no longer transfuse off creep. Alright. So obviously, queen pushes are extremely prevalent. Why are queen pushes very prevalent? It's because Zerg late game, other than Lurkers and Vipers, is very shaky, right? So the reason why, like, Zerg, generally speaking, go for queen pushes is to try and win before the late game. I personally only win against Stargate openers when the queens can march across the map and actually obtain the victory with, like, Roaches, Ravagers, and Zerglings. If I see that my opponent is going for a double Stargate opener, for example, I know I need to kill them before the late game because 9 times out of 10, as soon as it gets to like the 15-minute mark, unless I can build 100 Spore Crawlers and just kind of play that stalemate game where I don't even move across until like much later, I know I generally cannot win. A lot of that has to do with the Void Ray, but a lot of it also has to do with just the strength of that late game Skytools army, but also with like the reliability that Zerg has on like late game spellcasters and how much harder that late game army is to control, right? So this is not that big of an issue overall, assuming that the late game also gets a bit of a switch. I personally wouldn't have minded seeing like one less anti-air range on the Queen. I know that that happened back in the day too. So, you know, they used to have more range than they have currently. Them not being able to transfuse off creep, I mean, you can still obviously use like an Overlord highway, right, to get creep across. You could still definitely push creep tumors too. But most of the Queen-based pushes in the current meta of StarCraft 2 are done at hatchery tech, so you don't have the ability to actually use like a creep highway. All right, so I'll have to see this one in combination with the other changes. Widow Mines. Reduce the effectiveness of drilling claws by 0.71 seconds to 1.07 seconds. So Widow Mines will now burrow quite a bit slower. That seems like a good change. Yeah. That is a very significant change, actually. It doesn't, like, the numbers don't sound that big of a deal, but it's about a 50% nerf. Actually, it might be exactly a 50% nerf. Yeah, that is definitely going to burrow quite a bit slower. I'll have to see in game what that looks like, but I think overall, the like super quick, like, it's a bit silly, right? The same for the Lurker. All right, I agree. Reduces the effectiveness of adaptive talents from 0.71 seconds to 1.07 seconds. Okay, I also think Lurkers are too fast with their burrowing and unburrowing. Nydus Worm? This is it. That's it. Nydus Worm increased starting creep by 1 unit in each direction around the worm once it spawns. Okay. So Nydus Worms will be slightly stronger. So I guess you go in for a Queen Nydus push instead. Is that the idea? So you can easily transfuse as the units pop out, right? So if you put the Queens in first... Yeah, the Queens can instantly drop creep tumors and stuff. All right. I was actually hoping for something a little bit more than this. Obviously, this is just my very initial reaction to this. This patch has been like 18, 19 months in the making. Since the most recent balance update to StarCraft 2. Don't get me wrong, I think all of these changes by themselves, they sound very good, they sound very logical. But I'm still a little concerned for some of the things that we run into in the game. Because, like, okay, so here's the thing, right? Why do we see Void Ray openers 9 times out of 10, for example, in Zerg versus Protoss? It's because it is by far the best build. Right now, it's going to be weaker because it takes longer for the units to come out and they're more expensive. But this doesn't make Robo openers or Twilight openers that much better, right? You can still definitely open up Void Rays here. I think for a while, if this goes through, like this is obviously only PTR, right? So it'll be tested in the public test realm or the public test, whatever they call it. And then it might get published to the live version of the game as well. A lot of people will probably not open up Void Rays for quite some time. But this doesn't really address late game very much. I would have liked to see, like, for example, an Ultralisk size reduction or something along those lines. Maybe make carriers, I don't know, cost a bit more supply so you can't make nearly as many of them. I think, actually, ghosts are not addressed at all. Oh my god, I just realized ghosts are not addressed at all. So wait, hold up. Protoss nerf, Protoss nerf, Protoss nerf, Queen or Zerg nerf, Terran nerf. Okay, that's the only Terran nerf? I feel like recently I've been seeing so much ghost usage in, well, every matchup. Loco, you don't see the ghost changes because it's cloaked? Right. I need to get, I don't know, an observer nearby or something like that. Yeah, as it is, this would definitely stand as a pretty good Terran patch. Do you think Bill Gates might just be a Maru fanboy? He might just be, right? That would explain the whole... I guess most of my problems in StarCraft 2, or most of like my... Not just like problems as in like my own games, but also as far as like watching pro games go, is mostly late game. I think early game is really fun, mid game is really fun, late game is sometimes really fun, but oftentimes it's also very turtley where no one really wants to do anything. Yeah, this is a very anti-cheese type of patch. So I feel like we might arrive in the mid game and late game a little bit more regularly like this. Yeah, these are minor tweaks that I think overall will definitely make the game better. I mean, I don't want to get greedy now either, right? Because after like a year and a half of nothing, it is nice to see literally anything. And I do think that these definitely do address some of the bigger problems in the game. So I don't see any mention right here of a new like map pool. But I think it's safe to assume a new map pool will probably also go live. I mean, I did do a lot of casts over the last, I think this was like 2 weeks ago or so. Where I featured all of the winners from the TLMC, the Team Liquid map contest. And a lot of those actually were very nice. I actually think maps have a massive impact on the balance on the game as well. So, yeah, I do think that this is going to especially change up Protoss versus Zerg early game meta. Even though this is only 6 seconds, and with Chrono Boost, it's obviously negated even more. But it definitely is going to make Protoss players experiment a lot more with Twilight Council and Robo Openers once again. And like in a lot of the pro games, that's the weird part, right? At the top level, a lot of the pro Zerg, or a lot of the pro Protoss players, they are already opening up Twilight and Robo quite frequently. It's just that the Stargate opener just feels really nice and comfortable, right? It's quite nice to do. But if they do open up Void Rays, maybe a Nydus cheese. If you don't want to play late game. Is not a terrible idea. Hey, so what do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you think this is enough? Do you wish it was a little bit more like I do as well? It's a change. Yeah. It's better than nothing.